Hi, I'm Mr. James, and this is day 5 of the Teen Driver's Ed. So let's get started. Alright, so today we're going to be talking about passing and being passed. Basically, traffic flow is what we're going to talk about today. So we're going to start off on actually driving on the road and passing and being passed while driving. So let's go ahead and start off. Before passing, you must decide whether it makes sense under existing road, traffic, and weather conditions. You should be patient and wait until the time is right. Collisions that result from improper passing can be deadly. So passing, when is it allowed? Okay, so what is passing? Passing is the process of moving lanes and accelerating past a vehicle in front of you. Where can I pass? You can pass when the situation and location allows for it. 1. Dashed white lines. It separates lanes going in the same direction and passing is allowed. 2. Dashed yellow lines. Separating lanes going in opposite directions, passing is allowed when yielding to oncoming traffic and conditions are safe. So in Texas, a driver can drive on an improved shoulder to the right of the roadway if it is necessary and safe to do so, but only to stop, stand, or park, to accelerate before entering the main traveled lane of traffic, and to decelerate before making a right turn. So basically, anytime we pass somebody, especially if it's a dotted yellow line, what we want to do is we want to change lanes and change lanes safely. So in this little particular slide, we're going to talk about smog, right? So and smog is going to be on your final exam, so you need to make sure that you're aware of it, you know what it means. All right, so it's an acronym, and smog basically means signal, mirror, over the shoulder, go. Okay, so the first thing in changing lanes you want to do is you want to make your intentions clear to other drivers on the roadway. Use your blinker to signal to display your intentions prior to changing lanes. So that's the first thing you do. You turn on your blinker. All right, then you want to check your mirrors. You must check your rear and side mirrors prior to changing lanes. Checking your mirrors gives you a visual information as to whether it is safe to change lanes. All right, now if your mirrors say it looks good, right, you check your rear view mirror and you check your side mirror and everything seems safe and clear, then what you want to do is go ahead and look over your shoulder. By checking your blind spot prior after checking your mirrors, make sure that it's completely safe to change lanes. So anytime you look over your shoulder, you want to look over the shoulder of the lane that you're trying to change into. So if you're changing into your left lane, look over your left shoulder. Make sure you're looking for either bicycles, motorcycles, other vehicles, anything that may make your lane change unsafe. So if everything looks good, then you go to the last one, which is G, and go. Once mirrors, blind spot, and all other conditions signify it's safe, you simply execute the maneuver in changing lanes. All right. So passing on the left safely, this is how we do it. Okay, so first of all, we want to evaluate. 1, is passing permitted, right? If it's a solid yellow line, it's not permitted. If it's a dotted yellow line, it's permitted, or a dotted white line. All right, check the situation all around your vehicle, yield to oncoming traffic, check your mirrors, and left blind spot. Now, once we evaluate the situation and everything looks good, we want to prepare. All right, number 1, activate the left turn signal. 2, alert the driver ahead of you, either honk or flash your high beams. 3, accelerate to get to a running start. And 4, recheck the situation ahead of and behind your vehicle. All right, then you want to execute the maneuver, and this is how you execute. 1, target and steer into the passing lane, change lanes to the left. Firmly maintain speed while moving by the vehicle. Make sure you can see both front tires of the vehicle you have just passed in your rearview mirror. That's very important. So when you do pass an individual, let's say it's a dotted yellow line and you decide to pass the person in front of you, you get into the left lane and you accelerate past them, do not cut them off. Do not just weave back into your lane. You want to make sure that you see their 2 front tires and their whole front in your rear view mirror before changing back into your lane. Now, if you have to change back into your lane quickly because of an oncoming car, well, then you should have never changed lanes to begin with because it was an unsafe situation. But in order to make sure you're not cutting somebody off and making their following distance unsafe, you want to make sure you follow that guideline. You want to see their complete front of their vehicle in your rear view mirror before getting back into your lane. All right, so you activate the right turn signal, check the right blind spot, target and steer into the right lane, cancel the turn signal, maintain speed until you have a safe pace cushioning behind your vehicle, then ease off the accelerator, return to normal cruising speed. All right. passing on the right safely. All right. In Texas and many other states, you may pass on the right. You may pass on the right only under conditions permitting such movement without conflict and in complete safety. All right. You may pass, 1, when the road is clear of parked vehicles or other hazards and it's wide enough for 2 or more lanes in each direction. 2, when you are on a one-way road. 3, using the paved shoulder of the roadway when the vehicle you are passing is slowing or stopped on the main travel portion of the roadway, disabled on the roadway, or preparing to make a left turn. All right, so being passed. All right, so you may find yourself in a situation where you're driving and someone behind you wants to pass you. Okay, so what do you do when being passed? All right, when the vehicle's passing you, you should, 1, refrain from increasing your speed. You don't want to make the situation dangerous by increasing your speed and keeping them from safely passing you. Because remember, if it's a dotted yellow line, you have oncoming traffic in the other direction. You do not want to put anybody's life at risk. 2, stay in your lane. 3, move to the right as far as you can when the lanes are not marked. And 4, make it as safe as you can for the other driver to pass you. Okay? When not to pass. All right, so there are no passing zones, so we got to make sure that we know when not to pass. All right, so passing is prohibited in the following situations. 1, a solid yellow line is present when passing on the left. 2, a no passing zone sign is posted, and this is what a no passing zone looks like. It's a pennant shaped sign. 3, approaching a hill or a curve. 4, your view is obstructed within 100 feet of a bridge, viaduct, or tunnel. 5, when you are within 100 feet of an intersection or railroad crossing. 6, oncoming traffic is too close. 7, you cannot see ahead clearly. All right, so we're going to watch a quick video on how to pass safely.
This road is getting awfully narrow.
You got a bicyclist up ahead too.
And a big truck coming towards us. This is going to be a tight squeeze.
Your margin for error is pretty small here. Safest thing to do is deal with them one at a time.
How do I do that?
Just ease up off the gas and slow down a bit. That way the truck will pass you first before you get to the bicyclist. Then you can move to the left to give the bicyclist more room, but stay in your own lane.
That worked well. But now there's kids on one side and cars on the other. No way to avoid this.
Now split the difference. Steer a middle course between the two. But kids pose the greater danger. You don't know when they might make a sudden move. So slow down and give them a little more room.
Now we're stuck behind a truck. He's going awfully slow.
Do you see the orange triangle? That indicates a slow-moving vehicle. He's probably going as fast as he can.
Maybe if I honk, he'll pull over.
Not a good idea. It's only legal to use your horn to avoid an accident.
Do I have enough room to pass?
Passing is very dangerous. You need at least 1/3 of a mile visibility. If you can't see that far, always assume another car is coming. A slow-moving vehicle must pull over at the first available turnout if 5 or more cars are behind it. If you have any doubt about passing, it's best to wait. If you know there's enough space, make sure you signal, look in your mirrors, and over your shoulder before you pass. And make sure there's enough space between you and the car you passed before you return to your lane. When you can see both headlights of the car behind you in your mirror, then there's enough room to pull back over.
Now we're going to talk about turns. Okay, so turning your car is very important. And it's also important that when you do turn, you don't cause any damage to your vehicle or turn in a direction that may actually cause damage to somebody else. So let's talk about the 7 steps to performing a good turn. Number 1, make up your mind before you get to your turning point. Never make a last-minute turn. It's too dangerous. 2, look behind and to both sides to see where other vehicles may be before you change lanes. 3, move into a proper lane as soon as possible. The faster the traffic is moving, the sooner you should move into your proper lane. If you cannot get into the lane at least 1/2 block prior to the turn, you should not turn, but continue straight ahead. 4, Give the proper turn signal at least 100 feet prior to the turning movement. If you use a hand signal, which is not visible at night, hold it until you are close enough to the intersection for others to know what you intend to do. Do not hold the signal while making the turn. You need both hands to turn the wheel. 5. Slow down to a reasonable turning speed, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Do not use the brake or clutch while actually turning. 6. Make the turn correctly. This will be easy if you are in the proper lane and proceeding slowly enough at the time you begin to turn. And 7. Finish the turn in the proper lane. Watch for pavement markings or signs permitting turns from or into 2 or more traffic lanes, or giving other special turning or lane information. Okay, so anytime you take a right-hand turn, in most cases you want to turn into the closest lane to you. Okay, you don't want to make a wide turn and go into the left lane. The safest turn you can make is the lane that's closest to you in most situations. A situation where that wouldn't be true is if the lane actually guides you to a particular point. So you then therefore you stay within those guidelines or those markings on the road. Right turns. Anytime you make a right turn, and this is a right turn warning signal right here, you want to evaluate the situation. 1, is a right turn permitted? 2, search the intersection. 3, check the rear view mirrors. 4, check your right blind spot for cyclists, motorcyclists, and etc. And then you want to prepare. 1, activate the right turn signal. 2, tap the brake. Check the rear view mirror, and then reduce speed. 3, research the intersection. 4, recheck mirrors and blind spot. 5, move to the right in your lane. And then, of course, you want to execute. 1, check that the front wheels reach the curve of the curb. 2, look through the turn, target the intended path of your travel. 3, release the brake. 4, steer quickly using the hand-over-hand steering. And 5, target ahead into the right lane. Left turns. This is a signal right here, a warning sign for a left turn. Evaluate the situation. Is the left turn permitted? Check the intersection. Check your rear view mirror. Check the left blind spot. To prepare, activate the left turn signal. Tap the brake, then reduce speed smoothly. Advance until your vehicle nears the center of the intersection. Stop with the front tires straight if pedestrians or oncoming traffic is impeding the turn. And 5, check the mirrors and blind spot. Then you want to execute the actual turn. Target the center of the intended lane. Release the brake pedal. Steer quickly using hand over hand. Accelerate smoothly. Aim ahead into the left lane. Straighten the steering wheel once you're in the lane. Alright, so we're going to watch a quick video here on how to make a proper turn.
What should I do for this right turn?
First, use your signal and start to slow down. Look over your right shoulder for bicycles or motorcycles, and then move into the bike lane when it's clear. Scan to the left and right, then make your turn when it's safe. On left turns, signal, look over your left shoulder, and move into the left center turn lane first, if there is one. Then, make your turn when it's safe. If only one lane can turn left in your direction, you can choose any lane to end your turn in. If there are 2 or more designated turn lanes, then stay in the lane you started in. For right turns, stay in the lane you start in, whether there's 1 or more designated turn lanes.
Oops, I missed the turn.
Not a problem. Let's make a U-turn.
Okay. I'm never sure when that's legal.
There's a few do's and don'ts. Make sure you have good visibility to see traffic ahead of you. In residential areas or where signs are posted, you can make a U-turn anytime it's safe. Business districts and divided highways require you to be a little more selective. U-turns are okay in these areas as long as there's an intersection or a place to turn and no signs prohibit. In addition to places that are posted for no U-turns, it's also illegal to make a U-turn whenever you'd have to cross a curb, a strip of land, double lines, or when you're in front of a fire station.
Alright, now this is going to be a left turn video.
Here are some common mistakes when making left turns. Advancing when light is green but not yielding to oncoming traffic will result in a collision if there's an oncoming vehicle. Advancing when light is green but failing to shoulder check for pedestrians at the crosswalk, which results in a situation of failing to yield to pedestrians and oncoming vehicles. Turning too wide as a result of excessive speed may cause a collision. Also, a potential hazard is created by drivers who accelerate towards the intersection to beat a flashing hand signal. At a high speed, the vehicle is unable to turn into the left lane. Instead, it enters into the right lane, forcing the other vehicle to take evasive actions. Turning left at the same time as a right-turning vehicle is turning into the adjacent lane. This situation creates crash potential. A large vehicle waiting to make a left turn from the opposite side may obstruct your view of oncoming vehicles. Taking a risk and turning left while unsure of oncoming traffic may result in a collision. Finally, following another vehicle into the intersection is not permitted. Only one vehicle should advance into the intersection at a time. The correct approach to make a left turn with a dedicated left turn lane is to enter dedicated left turn lane as soon as possible. Observe signals and shoulder check. If the traffic signal shows an arrow indicated turn, proceed when arrow is green. If there's no arrow, advance into the intersection, keeping vehicle wheels straight, yield to oncoming vehicles and pedestrians at crosswalks, and then proceed when safe into the left lane. The correct approach to make a left turn without a dedicated left turn lane is to wait for the green light in the left lane. When light is green, advance into the intersection, keeping vehicle wheels straight, and proceed when oncoming vehicles have cleared the intersection and pedestrians have cleared the crosswalk.
All right. Let's go back one. Forward one. All right, so let's talk about parking. All right, parking. Not all crashes occur while vehicles are being driven, and importantly, parked vehicles may become a runaway and cause of a collision. You must act responsibly at all times, including when you park your vehicle while your vehicle is parked, even though you are not in your vehicle. You must decide where to park in compliance with parking control signs, curb markings, fire hydrants, etc. When parking parallel to the curb, your vehicle must be within 12 inches to the nearest curb. Now, when you take your driving test, you have to be within the 3 to 18 inches from the curb. So that's very important for your driving test. But in order for you to be safe, be within 12 inches of the curb. That way you can be within compliance. All right, prohibited parking. Please look at page 4.7 in your textbook for a complete list of prohibited parking. However, here is the most common. Prohibited parking. A vehicle shall not be parked except if necessary to avoid conflict with other traffic in a compliance with the law or the directions of a police officer or traffic control device in any of the following places. You cannot park on a sidewalk. You cannot park in front of a public or private alleyway or driveway. You cannot park within 15 feet of a fire hydrant. You cannot park on a crosswalk or within 20 feet of a crosswalk. You cannot park within 15 feet of an intersection, and you cannot park within 30 feet of a traffic control sign or signal such as a stop sign or traffic light, and of course within 15 feet of a railroad track. Alright, parking on a hill. When parking uphill with a curb, you must turn your wheels to the left. Okay, and the reason why we turn them to the left, as you can see here, uphill with the curb, as you go down, the curb is going to act as your brake. Alright, parking uphill with no curb, you must turn your wheels to the right. Okay, and here, uphill, no curb, turn your wheels to the right. In case your parking brake fails, your car goes into this direction and away from going downhill. And of course, parking downhill, regardless of curb, you must turn your wheels to the right. Now, the reason I say that is because we drive on the right-hand side of the road, so you should be parking correctly if you're parking downhill, it should be on the right hand side of the road. So it must be turned towards the curb, therefore you don't go down the street and cause any problems or destruction of property. Alright, so speed limits. Alright, all drivers are required to obey posted maximum and minimum speed limits, which are designed to provide for the orderly flow of traffic under ideal driving conditions. Now remember that word, ideal. Ideal means there's no adverse condition. And we're going to talk more about adverse conditions later, but only when it's ideal can you go these limits. Okay? When any of these conditions change, you must adapt your speed to reduce risk and avoid collision. So anytime you're on a beach or an alleyway, the standard is 15 miles per hour. In urban areas, you'll see signs just like this, anywhere between 30 and 45 miles per hour. In numbered highways or farm-to-market roads, you may see 55, 70, or even 85 miles per hour. Alright, so entering a freeway. Alright, entering the freeway, you must yield to traffic already on the freeway. They have the right of way. 2, enter the accelerating lane. This is the accelerating lane, as you can see here. Turn on your left signal so others can see that you're trying to merge safely onto the freeway. Increase your speed so you can merge with the flow of traffic. Alright, so freeway driving. Driving the freeway. If driving slower than the flow of traffic, stay in the right lane. Remember, all slow traffic keep right. 2, use left-hand lane to pass other drivers. 3, keep at least 4 to 6 second following distance between you and the car in front of you. Use more time if conditions are adverse. 4, you must make sure to drive the speed minimum when conditions are ideal, 45 miles per hour on Texas freeways and interstates unless otherwise posted. And then 5, cooperate with other drivers, adjust your speed to assist others entering the freeway to help create a safe environment. Exiting the freeway. Exiting the freeway, know which exit you want to use. Give yourself at least 1,000 yards to enter the correct lane to prepare for the exit. 3, pay attention to the exit speed limits and suggestions. 4, slow your vehicle as you enter the exit lane to prepare exit speed limits. 5, continue to slow as you near the feeder road and keep checking your speedometer to make sure you are at the proper speed for the feeder road. Highway hypnosis. Highway hypnosis is a condition of drowsiness can be brought about by reduced activity and steady sounds of wind, engine, and tire hum. Okay, so anytime you drive down the freeway, you're taking a long road trip. A lot of times the scenery is going to look the same. They're going to go in a straight line and you're at a constant speed. You're going to start getting into that highway hypnosis, and it happens. So you have to stay actively engaged. So how can we overcome highway hypnosis? All right, you want to stop and rest regularly, every 2 hours or 100 miles. Do not drive more than 8 hours per day. Force your eyes to search near and far, left and right, and in the rearview mirror. Read the road signs and keep your mind actively engaged in the process of driving. Okay, so for day 5, what we're going to do is I want you to read chapter 4 in your textbook. Okay, and this is what your textbook looks like if you picked it up from your All Ages Driving School location. You want to complete exercise A for chapter 4 in the workbook. The workbook is found on our website under resources, and I'll also provide a link next to the video itself, so that way you can get to it easily. I want you to look up videos on YouTube on how to enter and exit the freeway safely. Okay, and then of course I want you to email your assignment to mrjamesdriversed@gmail.com. All right, well, y'all take care. See you next time.